Hello there everyone, and welcome back to another Farming Simulator 17 tutorial. And today I'm going to be showing you how to master the menu screen. How to basically navigate through your menus, what each screen is for, and how to utilize that so it would benefit you in the game. So, right on the menu screen here, we're going to go over a couple of different things here. First off, we'll start with the options. Now you can change a couple of things here. If you have a gamepad or the steering wheel hooked up, you can change your different game settings here. Your mouse sensitivity is what this one is. Now you're going to want to crank that up to 200, trust me. Some people may argue that, but this is how you use the mouse to look around the world on the game. So if you have that up on 200, you're going to be able to look around a lot easier. But it's set pretty low, so you're going to want to crank that. So we'll go over, you can tell there's three different screens here for the options. We're on the last one right now. If I press over, we'll go back to the first one. Now here's some of your general settings. That's basically just your graphical settings, if you want it in full screen or not. Master volume you're going to want on. I just have it off for the menu screen, but I'll turn that back on. And that's about it for here. We go over to advanced, and here you can change your graphical settings even further. Now for the most part you're going to want to leave all this as is unless you're really picky about this stuff, but the only thing I really changed, since I can run this game on high, I like to turn on the realistic beacons right here, and that's about it for that screen. So you save that if you want to change that over to more realistic. Now, like I said, we're on the first screen here, so we're going to go over to the next one. And this is all your button defaults for all your different functions in the game. You can go through this if you're not sure what buttons are which. It's a good little reference here, and you can change these as needed. So that's basically the three different option screens there. So we'll go back. Credits is just the people that made the game, obviously. Achievements is you'll reach different achievements depending on what you accomplished in the game. If you play for so long, if you've seeded so many fields, if you pay back the loan, you'll get little achievements for that. So that's always a bonus. You can go and check them there. Here is your mods category. Now this is just mods that are from the Giant site. Now Giants are the people that made this game, so these mods are all pretty safe to download. These are really handy if you're not into getting them from third parties and going on the internet and getting it that way, but these are all pretty trusted mods. They're all categorized, like here's the latest ones, there's 13 of them. You can go in there, download it directly into your game, so you might want to go through some of these if you're interested in getting into mods. These are really popular ones, these are the most downloaded. Different trailers, other ones that are in beta, objects, tractors, all kinds of things there, so you can always look through that. That's a good option to get mods if you're not into like looking for them on the internet, because this is directly from their website. So tutorials will help you along the way. If you're second guessing how to do anything, this will pretty much tell you everything about the game. Then you have career and multiplayer. Now if you want to join a multiplayer game, you're going to come over here. You're going to go to join a game. You're going to pick your character and name them. Then it's going to try to connect to a server soon, but basically here it's giving you the option of clicking on the region where you live, basically. So if you live in North America, you're going to want to use the international. If you live in Germany, you want Germany. If you live in continental Europe, basically the rest of Europe, you would click this one. I live in Canada, so I'm going to be going with that one. Then it's going to give you a list of all the different people that are playing. These are all the different servers. Now for the most part, most of these are going to be locked. You're not going to be able to get into them. Now I don't know if it's the lock key or not, but I noticed some of them have a lock, you can get into them. But if it has this quotation mark, you usually can't get in. And you'll know by down here, because this will be lit up in gray if you can't join it, and it'll be in green if you can. So I'll go to this, guys. See, it says it's open, but there's something written here. This might be for mods. They're probably using mods in their game, so you'll have to match their mods to be able to join, if they're allowing people to join. Now let's look for some open ones. Now you'll notice right here I clicked on that one and that's now a green check mark. See, the one before it was grayed out. So I can join that game. There's the map he's playing on. There's only one person out of 10 that are able to join that server, and then the language it's in. So, and then you can change your different game settings down here if you want. So that's joining a game, a multiplayer. Now if we go back and you want to create your own game and open your own server, you would click on that, pick a map basically, pick what mods, if you want to use the ones that you have installed or not, just check on them. Then you're going to come to this screen, and basically that's going to be the name that they're going to see over your head in the game. Your port, you don't want to mess with these things. Auto accept, now that's people that are joining your game. Now if you have that to on, if somebody's trying to join your game, they'll automatically start loading up, and you don't have to ask permission basically. Now if you have that to off, you'll get a notice on the screen that somebody's trying to join, and then it's up to you whether you want to let them or not. The language, you can put a password here, so only people that you know that have the password can join your game. So that's a good way to narrow it down if you don't want strangers. Your internet connection, how many players will allow. Now just the way you buy the game now, you can have up to 8 players. You can take that down if you only want 3 players. Once it hits that limit, it's not going to allow anybody else to join. And you can get more players than 8 if you buy a dedicated server. Now you have to pay for that every month. So it's nice that they moved that up, because that was only 4 in the last one. Now they're allowing 8, so that's really good. And then you have your autosave function here, whether you can turn that on or off. Depending, if it's on, it'll periodically save for you, or if it's off, you just got to make sure that you save your game on your own. So let's go back. So that's multiplayer. There's how you rent a dedicated server. Like I said, you have to pay for that, but you get a lot more options and stuff. I didn't really do it myself, but it's something that you might want to look into if you're going to play a lot of online. So last but not least is career. This is where you're going to go to set up a single player game. You're going to open a game file, then you're going to be brought here, and whether you have mods downloaded or not, it's going to ask you if you want them in the game or not. Then you press start and it'll load you up. So that's basically the rundown of the options screen right on the front menu. Now once we go into the game, there's 2 buttons that you're going to be using a lot in this game. The 2 buttons are escape. That's how you get to your options window. This is your main options window where this is going to tell you everything that's going down in the game. So that is the escape key. Then you have your P key, and the P is basically your shop where you're going to buy all your vehicles. Now as well on this screen, you're going to have your garage, and this is all the items that you own in the game. It's not just stuff that's in your garage. It's basically a list of your inventory, all your little things to park your vehicles in. Everything is going to show up here. So you access that through the shop window, which is the P button. So let's do that again. Button P will bring up your shop. Each one of these are mini categories for each thing that you're going to need in the game. Say if you want to look at harvesters, there's going to be a whole list of harvesters here. So, and then you can just key scroll or use the scroll button to go all the way over. Now if you press over, it'll show it by brand name if you want to shop by brand name, and then that's it. So remember, P button, you're going to be using that a lot to get to your vehicles, whether you want to buy them or just see what you have or sell them. And like I said, escape is one you're going to use. Now look at the bottom here. Now when you go to your options window, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 separate menu screens in this one category. So once you bring up escape, you're going to bring this is your main screen right here. This is going to tell you everything that's going down in the game for the most part. You're going to use this screen the most. You'll see everything's color coordinated, all your different fruit types. These are basically off and on buttons. If they're on, they're going to show you every field that that product is in. If you click it once, it'll gray it out and it'll get rid of that. Now, if I was new to the game, I would tell you guys to uncheck all these. Gray these all out. Right off the bat, get rid of them all. Find out where what you're working with. Now, right here on this game, I own all these green numbered fields. I don't have access to all these fields. They're all numbered, but just the green numbered ones are the ones I own. Now, if I know what's growing in there or what I'm planting, I'll just click on the ones that I'm using. Now, if I hit wheat, I know I don't have wheat in any of those fields. Canola. See, those two fields have canola in them, and this one here does too. Now, I'll leave that one on. I'll turn the wheat off since I don't have that. Soybeans. I don't have any of them. I know I don't have any potatoes yet. Grass, oilseed, barley. See, those three have barley in them. So they're the only two products I have right now. So I'll leave those windows on. And like I said, just click on and off these as you need them. Now, in your fruit types, you got three mini menus. This one's your fruit type. This one is your growth stages. Now here's another one that has the off and on. You can turn these off or on as you need them. Now when you're in the growth, over in the growth category, you basically want to see what fields are cultivated that are ready to be planted on. This is your growing stages. Now once you put down a plant, you seed it, you'll be able to color coordinate to see how far into that growing stage it is. Once it hits this mark here, it'll slip into this category. Now this is the different growth stages for your plants. Now when they first turn so you can harvest them, they're going to be this color yellow, and they'll keep going on and on until it hits that color. Now once it hits that color, you're going to have to get it, or your plants are going to rot, and that's when this comes in. Once they're that color there, they're no good anymore. You can basically, it's just a ruined product. But in the game settings, we're going to turn that off. If I say if you're new to the game, turn your withering off so your plants don't rot, so you get a foothold on the game before you start having to worry about that. And then this is your harvested. If they're purple, they've been harvested. Now you can tell all these fields are empty now. There was product in them, but now it's telling me they're empty. So these have to be either plowed or cultivated again. This will tell me what ones have been plowed. Remove tops comes in when you're dealing with sugar beets and potatoes. And so, like, yeah, basically I'm just going to leave those four windows on for now. That's all I need. Now the next window over, this is really important. Now there's two different ways you can play this game. You can play it so you only have to cultivate, seed, fertilize, and once you're done those three steps, you just leave your field grow until it's ready to be harvested. Then you can go over and harvest it. But something they implemented into this new title, you can switch it so it's more in depth. Now you can fertilize your field 3 times in one growth state. So every time it hits, say if I just fertilize field 12 after I seeded it, it's going to start with that color. Then when it's ready for the next coat, it's going to turn that color, and so on and so forth. And once you hit that color there, that's the max amount of fertilizer you can use. Then it's going, that it's going to yield the most. So I hope that makes sense to you. This shows here the fields that need to be plowed, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So we'll go over to the next window. So remember what I said, there's 3 mini sections in this fruit types here. There's the fruit types, the growth stages, and your fertilizing stages. So that is that window. Now here's another one that comes in handy too. And remember, these are also off and on buttons. So turn them all off. Unclick them. Don't make sure they're not green. Now this here window is for your tractors and your regular vehicles. Now if I have that on, I can see where they are on the map, and I can cycle through them. I can cycle through all my regular vehicles. Now if I turn that one off and put this one on, here's all my harvesters that I own. Right now I own 3 of them. So I can cycle through them, and it'll show me where they are on the map. Now if I turn that one off and turn this one on, this is just your tippers. Here is all your implements. Everything that hooks to a piece of machinery is all going to be in this section. So a good majority of the smaller things are going to be in this section. Now if I turn that off and turn this one on, this tells me all my tip points and my sell points. This is where I can bring product. These are all places I can sell. It shows my barn here, but I can store that here. The reason that's blinking right now and it's blue is because there's a demand there right now. So they'll be basically paying double or triple the price because they're really desperate for a product. But not to get into that right now. Let's go off this one and go to the next one. Now this will tell me where all my fields are. Now there'll be a quotation mark on all these. And another thing they've added to this game that I thought was really fantastic is if I want to go to a particular field, I can click on that field, then I can press tag on it and it'll start flashing. And when I go back to the regular map, you can see that it's flashing on the map. Now no matter where I am on the map, I'm going to see that flashing, so I'll know the general direction to go in, so you don't have to have your big map up on the screen all the time. So I thought that was really cool. I liked how they did that, so you can really narrow down where you want to go. Plus another thing they implemented is, and you can do these for any of these symbols, you can press on your tractor or whatever you want to go to, and say if I want to go to field 31, I can click on that. Now I can tag it so it'll blink, or I can just press visit and go there instantly. Look, I'm right down on field 31. So that's really cool, because before, if you wanted to get to, say if somebody said, come here, I want to show you something over in field 12, and he was sitting in the only vehicle that was over there, you couldn't get over there. He had to get out of the vehicle so he can basically teleport into that vehicle, you know what I mean, to get out to see what he was looking at. Now you can just go there no matter what. You don't have to bring a vehicle with you. So that's really cool. That's another really cool thing they implemented there. So yeah, use these to your advantage for sure. So the last one is basically your shops and where you buy things in your farms. See, there's your pigs, your sheep, your chickens. There's where you sell your beef, or sell your meat, I should say. There is your cows. There is the shop, and there's places to get gas. So that is it for that window. So remember, turn these off if you don't want the whole screen cluttered, or you can turn them all on and you can see everything at once. Now it totally depends on the way you want to play the game. So that is the very first window that covers all this stuff, guys. So we'll go over to the next window. This is a list of all your customers. These are the people that are going to buy grain from you. And these are all your different fruit types. Now they call any product in this game fruit, basically. And each symbol is its own thing, such as wheat, barley, canola, sunflowers, sugar, or the peas, split peas, I think they are, corn, potatoes, sugar beets, manure, and so on and so forth. This just goes right across. And for each one of these, it shows you how much you have in storage. So if you want to know how much of each crop that you have, you're going to want to come here. So that L at the end is liters. So there's how many liters of each product I have in storage. Now, how to use these numbers. Basically, if the number is green here, that means that this company here is paying the most for this product. You know what I mean? They're paying $1,202 per 1,000 liters, I think it is. I don't think that's per liter. No, per 1,000 liters. I can't remember now. It might be per liter. It might be per liter. So yeah, and if the number is in red, that's the lowest paying. That's the place you don't want to bring it to, because that's the lowest price you're going to get from it. So you basically use it as like a chart Here's this customer's prices right across the chart. Here's this customer's, and here's each product. So you basically just line them up. Now if they're in white, that's just an average price, but it'll tell you like what it was doing like hours before or hours after, whether the product is falling in price or it's going up in price. But remember, you want to bring it to the green ones. That's where you're going to get the most. And this one's blue, like I said, because there's a big demand. And look how much higher this number is compared to these numbers. So that's how you use this screen here. So that's the second one over. Let's go to the third one. The third one is your vehicle overview. This is basically how many days you've had it. This is your daily maintenance fee, I think. And this is the price you get if you sell it. And if you lease vehicles, they'd be listed here. So we'll go to the fourth one over. This is all your finances, what you spend, what kind of income you're bringing in, what each thing is doing. So this is going to tell you everything through all the days of the week. And this is also where you come if you want to borrow money or pay back your loan. So this is your finances screen. That's your fourth one over. The next one is your animal screen. Now they really did a good job of putting this out, because on the last one they separated animals into a bunch of different screens and it was really confusing. But here's a simple way to look at it. Here's your sheep category, here's your pig category, and here's your cow category. Now each category is broken up into mini menus. Now you notice right here there's kind of a group, then there's a line, there's another group here, then there's another group down here, and then you have this group down here. So like 4 different sections to the sheep. Now the first section is going to tell you how your animals are doing, how many you have, how many are on the way, how many you're, you know, the next one to be born is in this much time. Reproduction rate, sorry, that's what it is. Next animal in your productivity, depending how you feed them, it's going to tell you how productive they are. So this just tells you everything about that animal. This section here is going to tell you what products that animal is making, the things that are making you money, basically your productivity from that animal. So from sheep you're only going to get wool, so this will tell you everything that that animal is producing. Here is everything you need to make that animal produce stuff. This is things that the animal needs. You're always going to be wanting to check this, because you know, right now sheep only need grass, water, and that's it, and keep it clean. So this is going to tell you their needs, this is going to tell you their output, their products, and this is going to tell you how your animals are doing. Down here this is going to tell you the best way to feed your animals and get them to 100% productivity. So read this down here and this will tell you what to do to care for that animal. Same as the pigs, this is your productivity. This is the amount of product they made. This is what you have to do to care for the animal. And this is helpful hints what to feed them to get them to the different productivities. Like if you just feed them base food, they're going to produce at 50% of what they can do at max. So that's going to give them half of what they could do if they were at their best. You know what I mean? So you just utilize these. Same as your cows. There's your numbers and you know your general information about your cows. Here is what they're producing. Here's what you have to do to keep them happy. So that is the 5th window. Let's go over to the 6th. Statistics. This will tell you everything that you've done in the game, how long you spent doing it, and it'll keep a track of what you did in total. So session means basically since you turned on the game, what you've done in this gaming session. So everything. It'll tell you how long you seeded, how long you've cultivated for, everything. It just tallies all your times up. And total is grand total since you started the game. So next window over. So you have a general settings here. You're going to want to go through some of these. Most of these you won't have to touch, but your help window and all that. You're going to want to change this to, there's dollars, pounds, and euros. So wherever you're from, you're going to want to change that. Same with your measuring units. You're going to want to change that. Most of these you're just going to leave alone for the most part. This here is to get to your trains when you're pressing tab to get through your vehicles. I have it off for now because I'm not going to be using the trains for a while because I'm just starting off in the game and I don't have that much product to move around. So I don't have to pan through 2 more vehicles every time I cycle through them. I just turn these off. That way I won't go to them at all. And when I want to use them, I'll come back here and turn them on. So I would tell you to turn that off, but it's totally up to you. And then your volume settings, so on and so forth. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. Next window over is a few more game settings. Now remember what I told you before. You can't pause this game unless you come to this window. Now everything on the outside of the screen is still going on. If I had somebody harvesting, he'd be harvesting right now. If I want to pause this game, I actually got to come into this window, press that button, and back out. Then you'll see game pause on the screen. Now it's paused. So if you press escape or P, that is not paused, just to let you know that. So to get out of this screen, nothing on your mouse is going to work. So press escape to get out of here. So that'll bring you back here. Now this is what I told you at the beginning, whether you want to set this up for basically easy or hard when it comes to planting crops. Now you can have your plowing turned off, and this is the way it was in Farming Simulator 15. That's why I was saying all you had to do was cultivate a field, seed it, fertilize it, and that's all you had to do until it was grown. Then you could harvest it. Now with this in the new game, you can turn your periodic plowing on and your fertilizer states from 1 to 3. Now what that means is every time you're going to want to plow your field, every 3rd harvest. That's the way this game's set up. Now every 3rd harvest you're going to want to bring your plow out and plow your fields to get them rechurned up to make them fresh again basically. And you're going to want to fertilize 3 times through the growth state of your plants. Instead of once, you'll have to do it 3 separate times, so it's a little bit more in depth this time around. In Farming Simulator 15, you never had to use your plow. You could go the whole game without using your plow at all. The only real thing it came in handy was you could turn it so you can join your fields. If you have 2 smaller fields, you can hook them together. That was the only time. You didn't have to plow your fields itself. Now if you have this on, you will. So every 3 harvests, you'll want to plow your fields. For every time your plants are growing, you want to fertilize up to 3 times until they're ready for harvest. So keep that in mind. Here is how fast your plants grow. I have it on fast because this is kind of like my demo. So you want that on just normal for the most part. And here's your withering, guys. This is the one I told you where you're going to have to turn it off and on. If you don't want your plants to rot, just turn this off. If you want withering on, you're going to have to watch it because your plants will get so mature that if you don't get to them in time, they will rot in the ground. So for the most part, if you're new to the game, I would turn this off or turn it on if you think you can handle it. So one more menu screen to go, and this is all the help that you're going to need for everything in the game, guys. There's 10 different crop types. This is going to tell you how to run all your machines. Now remember, there's a mini menu in this one screen. So you can go, this tells you about basic farming. This is a little bit more advanced knowledge, how to work with straw, chaff, silage, different stuff like that. This screen tells you how to care for all your animals and what to expect when you get into this. This will tell you everything about forestry. This will tell you everything about products, how to make them and what to do with them. This will tell you different ways you can make money in the game. How your shop works and the different icons. Up here it's good to know these too, because these will come in handy in the shop. You'll know, like, that's how much money it makes an hour, that's how much it costs per day, that's how much horsepower it is. This is how much is needed to run, how much horsepower is needed to pull or run a certain piece of equipment. That's your max amount of fuel. That's the max amount of how much your machine can hold, like the product it can hold. That's how many of each pieces of equipment you have, and there's how many pieces of what do you call it, leased vehicles you have. So they come in handy, so it's good to know some of these. And after that, I do believe it's just miscellaneous stuff about the train and stuff, and then it just resets. So you have a couple of mini menus inside of your help one. So that's it for the menus, guys. So remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different menus here. That what I just taught you will definitely bring you a long way to how to utilize this option screen, because you're going to spend a lot of time here, and this is the meat of the game right here. When you press escape, these are the windows you're going to want to come to check out things, basically. So that's escape, and remember, the only one besides that is P. Oh, I have to take the game off the pause first. There we go. Yes, and then you press P to go to the shop. That's where you're going to buy all your vehicles. And here in the garage is the stuff that you own. So guys, I hope that was helpful for you. If you liked what you see, please leave a like down in the description and leave a comment. If you're new to the channel, click on my mugshot down in the corner, and I'll be sure to bring many more of these tutorials your way, as well as mod reviews and Let's Plays. So thank you so much for joining me, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.